Hello everybody, this is Diane. Today is a Sunday. I'm not going to church today because I was exposed to someone who has COVID, my daughter. So I'm avoiding being around other people. I'm not sick, I'm not showing any symptoms, but you know, it's been 5 days. So I have to wait to see if I do start showing symptoms. So anyway, it's a play date here. I am going to be working on some glue books, hopefully this coming week, with these 1961 How to Do It Encyclopedia books. So I love these covers with the 1961 images. So these will become glue books. But like I said, today is play day, so we're going to experiment with a type of cover that I decided to play with. I saw a picture of a journal cover on Pinterest. It was just a photo. It had no text. It had no illustration, or it had no instruction or even what it was made out of. But I saw the picture and it inspired me to attempt a new kind of cover. Sort of a new kind, I think. For me, anyway. So I made it with, I'm starting to make it with corrugated cardboard. I took these flaps off of an Amazon box. So it was a large box, so the flaps were quite big. This is about the width of the flap, and then I just trimmed off about a 1/2 inch on the length. So this is one flap, and then I used the other flap for the back cover. And what I did was I just added some quilt batting, glued some quilt batting to corrugated cardboard, and then 2 pieces of this fabric that I have, and wrapped it around, as you can see. I'm going to glue this to the back of it, and it's just going to be exposed like that. I'm going to paint it with just brush some white paint over it. And that will be the front cover. And I was thinking about putting this stamped piece of muslin on it as a decoration, and I might stitch in the border or something. And then this really fun chenille that my friend Sarah sent me will be on the spine. Isn't that great? So first things first, I'm going to put some paint on these corrugated pieces so that they have time to dry while I work on covering the back cover. It's just some acrylic craft paint, apple barrel craft paint that I got at Walmart. So I took half of the flap pieces, and I didn't put enough paint in there, I think, and just peeled off the one layer to get the corrugated part to be revealed. I didn't like that solid mass of white there, so I'm just brushing some of that off. And this should dry pretty quickly. Okay, that was quick and easy. I will set these aside so so they can dry, and we will work on the back cover. I want to make sure I have it going the right way, because I think it's slightly different if it's turned this way. Yeah, it's just not quite the same. Doesn't matter which is the front or the back, as long as I have the top so that I can put the fabrics on the same way. Yeah, I think I had it this way with the lighter at the top. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a piece of this quilt batting just to cover. It's just a thin cotton quilt batting. It almost feels like felt. Maybe it is a piece of felt. I don't know. It was in my stuff. And I'll just glue that. Just trim a little bit off. Okay. I'll take my 2 pieces of fabric, and first I glued down the light color and then I glued the darker color on top of it. So I just want to cut this slightly larger so I can wrap it around. I want to make sure this is the same, because I can adjust, put this, glue it on here so that it matches the same dimensions as this. Okay, now we can glue. Make sure I put it on there so that I have room on all sides to wrap it around. just nip off the corner like that. Okay, that looks pretty. Looks like I'm upholstering a mini headboard. Now I want to put this on at the same level as that. So I will just start the glue right there. This is Fabri-Tac glue in this bottle. Was just a little more extra than I needed. I put it upside down, but it doesn't matter as long as it's still going that way instead of this way. I wrote on it and then didn't pay any attention to it. Okay, now we have a front and a back. Let's see how we're doing with the painted part. Yes, I wanted it to be this way so that the ridges show on the edge of the cover. I'm going to have to trim a little bit of that because it's a little bit too long, unless I want it to hang off some. I think I trimmed this one, so I'll trim this one also. There's a glop of wet paint in there. You know the glops, right? We get glops of everything everywhere in our artwork, don't we? Okay, that looks better. Let's just go for it and glue it on. This is just playing and experimenting. if it doesn't work, I've only lost some time and a few materials. Now, I thought that I would use a file folder, one of these green file folders, and make a flexible spine. Again, we're playing and experimenting. So I think I'll make a 2-inch spine. Where's my paper trimmer? Oh, right next to me. Cut it 2 inches wide. And how high is the book? Just a tad, a smidge over 6 inches. I'll just use it to mark it. We'll use some Tyvek to attach it. Guess I'll still need that. So I will just cut the Tyvek wide enough so it'll cover the spine and then continue on to the cover piece. If I want it narrower, I can cut it down. Okay, I hope this is going to work because I need that Tyvek to stick to this bumpy stuff. So let's try it with this red line tape. I did that on the wrong side. And that peeled off very easily. That worries me. So we'll try putting some glue underneath the tape. And I'll let that dry before I try pulling off the liner. Oh, here goes Diane fighting with the red liner tape again. Well, I lifted it and then I dropped it. See if that'll hold now. Can't get under it. Nope, it's still wet, so I'm gonna wait. So I have a very long piece of seam binding, much longer than I need. But what I want to do, I can talk about this while I wait for that glue to set up, is I want it to be doubled. So I'm actually folding it doubled and then doubled again so that I would adhere this to the back spine and then let it drape across the front, and I would glue this on top of it to kind of secure it, and then it would run around the back also and then tie. And I didn't think to do whatever I wanted to do to this piece before I got started today, because I'm not sure if I want to do machine stitching in this color or slow stitching around it. But I want to stitch something on it. It needs a little bit of color on it. I was thinking maybe I should have glued a little strip of plain chipboard on it, right just here, for the tape to stick to. I'm getting it. I just have to hold it up where I can see it. The glue's still a little wet. Now this spine piece is much thinner than the cover piece, so let's see how that works. Let's just flip it over and lay this down on it. It's not centered. We'll get it. I'm going to add some glue to this because I pulled the tape off a couple times. And we'll get to put this on. I know I'm going to put the seam binding underneath it, so I'm not gluing it yet, but I want to cut it to the right size. I think I want it to come over quite a bit, but maybe not quite that much. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's fine. I really do want to show off the chenille. It's such a beautiful color, and I love that it's got a plaid design in it. Thank you very much for this piece. She gave me, Sarah has given me lots of chenille. She has a shop called Me and My Son Treasures, I think. I'll link it below. But I haven't looked in her shop lately, but she usually has chenille in her shop. But she gave me a small piece of this, and it's just right for what I need here. There was something I wanted to cut here that was bugging me. Where is it? There it is. Oh, that's what it was right there. That loop. That's a different kind of loop than I was talking about earlier. Okay. I hope. Well, we're just going to glue it on and see what we think, right? We're experimenting. First, we're going to do this. Yes, I almost forgot, but I didn't forget. Try to get the center of it. centered. I've got to wipe my hands off. I've got chenille and paint and glue sticking to me. I'll give the glue a little time to set while I clean my hands. Look at me. Okay. So, yeah, look at that. It's way more than I needed. But I won't cut it off yet. So this will be, once I know what I'm going to do with this lady, she'll be glued right down on top of that seam binding. And then I'll add this. And I don't know what else I'll add. I might add some lace or something behind her. We'll figure that out. But I wanted to get the construction of the cover going here so I would know if I think it would work or not. So obviously I didn't line the Tyvek up because it's much wider over here than over here. And it is, oh, that's not sticking just because it extends beyond where I had the glue. Okay, that scared me for a minute. Okay, so I will, I'm not going to do anything to the inside cover yet because I think what I will do is do a hidden binding. I don't want to sew on the outside of this. So I will take my signatures when they're done and sew them to a piece of fabric, which will then be glued over this, so that will cover up the Tyvek. And I don't know what else I will do to the inside, but I think it's pretty cool. I like it. Tell me what you think. I think that's all I'm going to do right now because I want to play around with decorations on the cover before I glue anything down. But I think I'm really liking this, and it didn't take too long to create the cover. So maybe I'll do some more of these. But I want to get those glue books done. I want to make those. But I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a creative person, and I see things that I want to try, but I put them on the back burner until I finish this or this or this. And then I forget about them, or I lose my inspiration for it, or whatever. So last night when I saw this, I mulled it over for a while on how I would put the cover together, and then I just went and got a box that had just come the other day and got to work and started putting it together. So I think I'm going to try to go with that kind of a flow more and just do what inspires me and see where that takes me. I hope you'll come along for the ride. Have a creative day today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.